Welcome to another episode of Talkcrates. Today, we have a fellow Greek theater expert joining me today. Will you please come have a seat?
Yes, I will. Hi, how are you doing?
Hello, good. How are you doing
Hello,
today?
I'm amazing.
Can we have your name state for the record, please?
Tomato Tomocules.
Okay, Tomato Tomocula. Okay, all right. So let's just dive right into it. Okay, let's talk about how Greek theater formed. Let's gather some information on that, shall we?
Many experts across this field say that Greek theater formed through a kind of people used to convey stories through rituals and myths.
I see.
And that got carried on into Greek life, and they just expanded upon it.
Yes, I do agree with that fact.
Those stories were used to teach lessons, tell tales of important past events, and to honor and to let the little kids they had flourish. You know?
I understand. Yes, this is a really interesting topic to think of because Greek theater is really it helped gather from what we know today as our theater the way it is now,
Yes.
between all these musicals and all these different things. So
Yes.
how did it how did it how are we so what did it come from?
Originally, like I said, it came from these stories told by almost everyone across the world. No one has ever been without storytelling and conveying messages. And when it got to Greece, it was just, they developed it so further. You know?
I understand. And let's talk about the Dithyramb real quick. Dithyramb, if you don't know, it's basically one of the things that kind of formed theater in a way. Originally, it was all just male choir. But there was one specific person, if you didn't know, and his name was Thespis. Thespis was the first actor in record history.
That's why we today as actors are known as thespians.
That's correct. All right. Why do we think Greek theater is important?
I believe Greek theater is very important because it helped us branch off into what we have today. Whether we're talking about comedies that are being put on or tragedies, the two sides of theater almost. Even when...
Sorry, everyone. Technical difficulties.
Yes.
Camera malfunction. We are back, though.
We are back. And
as I was saying, why is it important? Why is Greek theater important?
like I said, because it was almost a branch that extended to allow us to extend our arms into the world of theater. So much has changed since then, but there are so many things that yet again stay the exact same.
I see.
Yes.
And that is true from what I heard and from what I've talked about. It's definitely true. On the last episode of the podcast, we had a fellow, we'll call him a fellow expert, and he was talking about how much impact this story had. Would you have to enlighten more on the impact of how it was then and now?
So back then, the main reason of theater was to provide the audience with a feeling of intense emotion, often referred to as catharsis.
Yes.
And now, even nowadays, people are still united by that same feeling that is put on a person's shoulders when the cast gets on stage and just makes an amazing performance.
I see. All right. Those are questions that we have had. And I remember talking about it in the last episode of this podcast with the expert I just talked about.
Yes.
There are many different tragedies and different stories when it comes to Greek theater. One of the many that we know about is the one story. I'm trying to remember this guy's name. Help me out here if you can.
Oedipus?
Oedipus. The story of Oedipus was one that we know today as one of the greatest tragedies of all time.
Yes, that one. The emotional turmoil that goes from a baby almost being killed by his father, but then he grows up. But then he has to kill his father. But then he finds this. But then he wants his power And so he finds this wonderful queen and marries her, and becomes the great long-lasting king. But then the ultimate downfall, that is, he is his own wife's son? How could I have ever had children with my mother? And the intense emotion that comes at the end of his gouging his eyes out in terror.
I still think there are other options for that, but...
Most likely, but it provides the audience with such which I'm having trouble describing it here.
It's just tragic.
Yes.
The entire story is tragic, because it's a tragedy.
Yes.
Get it? Tragedy.
You're funny, buddy.
Thank you. Well, I think that's all we have for today for this episode, as I'm running late. So, if you can get out of my studio, that'd be great.
I would actually just like to take a second to thank everyone watching this podcast.